Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Jason LeDuc from Evil Genius Leadership Consultants. This is the Geeks Are Sexy show, fourth Thursday of the month, where we take over for Michelle Davis and we talk about how to be successful in business and in leadership here in Las Vegas and beyond. Before we get started with our first guest, I want to mention our sponsor, 5am Global. They've been nice enough to sponsor this segment with Casey Jade today. And 5am Global is a full-service PR and marketing firm run by our good friend Sean Willis, who's been on the show a few times. They will take care of your PR, your news releases, your media buys. If you need help with your social media, they'll take care of that. And one of the things that they are really great at 5am Global is they put on these incredible events and do all this event management. So they will book your speakers, they will find your event space, they'll do all the stuff you need. So if you're looking to have an event, see Sean Willis and her team at 5am Global. But now we're going to talk to our first guest, Casey Jade of Casey Jade Photo. You are a true Las Vegas local, born and raised here.
Not born.
Not born?
Born in San Diego. Lived here since I was 5, though.
I asked you to look at my notes.
I looked at part of it.
All right. We're already off to a bad start, everybody. Off to a bad start. Okay. But you've been a photographer for a number of years now, and you've recently shifted what you've been doing. When we first met a year and a half ago, you were doing things a little bit differently, and that's what we're here to have you talk about today. It's time to catch up. It's time to see what you're up to. Welcome back to the show, Casey. Thanks for being here.
Yay!
All right, so tell us, what have you been up to with your business since we last talked?
Before, when I was on the show, I was mostly focusing on boudoir photography with women, so building up confidence from the foundation up so that they can take that into all the other areas of their life. I have now just kind of expanded that and made the umbrella really helping women in both their boardroom and their bedroom.
Okay.
So I am offering a subscription-based photography service for women-owned businesses that need to really get out in front of the camera so that they can get their ideal client by sharing their stories, sharing their why, and really honing in on what they can so they can get more business from the web and social media.
So one of the things we've found in the last 5 or 6 years, subscription-based services are really a great way to bring revenue into your company. But I've never heard of anyone doing this with photography. How are you running a subscription-based photography service? Tell our viewers how it works, because I'm sure they're going to be interested.
Well, there's 2 different types of plans, because the 2 businesses that I service are really businesses that have either products or services, or I service a lot of people who are speakers, people who run events, things like that. So with the speakers and event planners and things like that, there's actually a retainer type of service. So they have a certain number of hours every 90 days where they can utilize my services to capture them in the moment with speaking, engaging, retreats, anything like that. So then they have that, as well as social media planning on Planoly. So I help them actually help auto-schedule out their posts on Instagram, because I was handing over photos, nobody was utilizing them, and I really think that there was a lack of helping them have the tools they really need to succeed with all the photos we're giving them.
Nothing is worse than when you're a creative type and you do what you feel like is some great work for people, and then they don't use it.
Right.
So
I help bridge that gap. And then the second thing for the photography service was every 90 days for the other types of businesses, the more traditional types of businesses, we do a storytelling call to see what their goals are for the quarter and what they really need to focus on for the 90 days, and then schedule an entire day shoot to get them 90 days of content in one day so that they can have a mass and then start planning. Okay,
great. So how did you go from what you were doing to doing this? What was the thought process? What was the decision-making process? How did you get there?
Sometimes the universe just beats you and beats you and beats you until you start listening. And it's funny, because I have so many friends who are in business like I am, and they all kept coming to me like, oh, it's so hard to figure out what to post on social media. It's so hard to have, consistent photos, all this stuff. And they kept telling me their pain points. And the whole time I was going, yeah, I feel you. I'm in the same boat, blah, 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 blah. One day I was like, wait a minute. I can fix that. I was like, I would love to help with that. So then I kind of just expanded my reach and realized that if I make it easier on them and me, it'll be mutually beneficial. So
okay, now let's talk about some of those pain points. I want to dig into that a little bit. What were some of the pain points that your friends were having that you realized you could help with? Because I'm betting some of our viewers are having the same pain points and haven't thought of how you might be able to help them.
One of the biggest ones is not knowing how to tell their story online to reach their ideal client, and not knowing how to be authentic, and not knowing what stories to tell to create value in their audiences and evoke emotion. So one thing I really bring to the table with that is the storytelling aspect. I am the creative aspect, so it's really easy for me to help them tell that side of their story and help be creative with it, so that I can help them get their message out through pictures, so that it's visual, because people really retain the message when they see it visually versus if they just hear it or see it written on a piece of paper. So helping them do that, as well as be more consistent with their posts, because so many algorithms of social media platforms really value consistency.
Absolutely.
So by giving them a ton of imagery and planned out stories and value messages, we can have them actually auto-scheduled so that they can just respond and do the engagement, instead of having to remember, oh no, I didn't post today, because you'll immediately get dropped back down in the rankings for the algorithm. So if you can start to be really consistent, you'll start to see that ROI form over time, because just like with website SEO, it's a long game. So when you're doing marketing and trying to get your story out and create an audience and a following online, you really have to put the work in and be consistent. So I really help them lay that foundation and help get comfortable in front of the camera, because most people are not. But all of us want to do business with people we know, like, and trust.
Absolutely.
So helping them tell their story and get out in front of that camera is what I help with.
So now you have this retainer service, the subscription-based service, but you're still doing these all-inclusive experiences for especially your women clients, right? Whether that is the boudoir photography on the personal side, or for business women on the business side. So tell us about these all-inclusive experiences, how you set them up, how they're working out, that kind of thing.
So I love all-inclusive because it really just means that you're hitting the easy button. You know, it's for people who really are just sick of doing everything themselves and they want somebody to help fix it, and I take care of everything from start to finish. So on the boudoir aspect, or on the boudoir end, where it would be more of the feminine empowerment, confidence, fierce, sexy photos end, I include wardrobe styling, hair and makeup, helping them source a hotel room or whatever location they want to do. So it really takes all of the work out of their hands. They literally just have to show up with a clean face and clean hair. On the business aspect, I know so many people who do not know how to create story, don't know what they want to say. So that's why we do that storytelling call, as well as on the back end, I help them auto schedule out their posts on a platform like that, so that they can just come to me, we help tell their story, I help them auto schedule it, and it kind of auto does everything for them. So all inclusive in being, you come to me and we can help get you in front of your right client.
So what you'll do is you'll sit down, you'll talk about what are you all about, what is the story you want to tell, then you'll kind of storyboard that out a little bit. This is what you want to convey on Monday, this is what you want to convey on Tuesday, and then you'll go take the photos and you'll do that for the whole month. For the whole quarter. So you'll do 90, you'll probably do a lot more than 90 photos, but you'll do 90 photos that you plan on using. And how long does that take when you do that?
Usually about 3 to 4 hours. And in that storytelling call, we really focus on what locations we're going to be shooting, what props we need, if we need to incorporate any other people into that, and what accessories and outfits, and if there needs to be any change of like hair, makeup, anything like that. So we coordinate that all first, and then I send them all those notes from that call so that they can have that list, so that we can really have that storyboarded out when we get to the shoot.
Very cool. So your business has grown since the last time we had you on the show. How have you grown and learned since the last time we saw you here?
I believe that I have grown exponentially, which I'm really happy to report, because sometimes when you don't look back, you don't celebrate those wins and all of that learning, and it's really nice to kind of be in this spot again, because I can go back to where I was before. And I really think that I've grown and learned in the aspect that having a base of steady income in my business it made me so much more solidified and comfortable in my own skin and business.
A lot more calm, right?
Because I know that there's money coming in, so that I can give more time to my creative aspects, my philanthropic efforts, as well as really pay attention and give the best treatment to my clients, because I'm not freaking out, not knowing where I'm going to get my next client from.
Outstanding. All right, well, we're just about out of time. Before we go, tell the audience how they can get a hold of you, and they can either get signed up for your subscription service or your all-inclusive experience?
CaseyJadePhoto.com, CaseyJadePhoto.com. You can also download my free ebook on instant confidence boosters. If you guys are just kind of getting off on the wrong side of the bed and want something to pep your step up, you can download that for free on my website, as well as Instagram is Casey Jade Photo. Pretty much everything.
Yep.
Casey
And
Jade Photo.
you don't need to spell it again, because I will type it up in the show notes, so you don't need to do any spelling on this show in the
Yeah,
future.
you never know.
All right, well, thank you for watching us. Hang in there. We're going to be back with Teresa Moore from Down Syndrome Organization of Southern Nevada. Stay right here.